Inside Sports Talk Radio with host Glenn Rhymes and co-host Earl Booster. Brought to you by the Windows Group of Companies, Colonial Group International, Global Atlantic Financial Group, Game Time, and Fit for Life with Dave Wolf. Now let's go live with Jim Rollins and Earl Booster.
And good afternoon. Welcome to Inside Sports Talk Radio. It's January 8th, 2018. I'm Ian Rollins, along with the co-host, Mr. Earl Basin. Welcome to the new year, sir. How are you doing?
Happy New Year to you and to the listeners. Yeah.
All is good?
All is well.
How did you spend 2 weeks off from vacation of Inside Sports Talk Radio?
It wasn't a vacation.
Well, I made it a vacation for me. I made it the best I could.
It was good. I mean, a lot of sporting action taking place. So for me, it was busy but good.
Busy but good.
Yeah.
I gotta get used to this new time, 12:15.
Yeah.
I'm awake. I feel fresh. I feel good.
It's still morning. It's
well, mid-afternoon, so it's not that bad, right?
It's still morning in some places. So.
In some places, yes, exactly right about that. Exactly right about that.
Yeah.
Well, just want to let our listeners know, yes, there's a new time for Inside Sports Talk Radio. We start today, as of today, 12:50 to 2 p.m. We do break away at 1 o'clock for the major news at 1 p.m. That's a must. And then we come back on the air to 2 p.m. In addition to that, we will have trivia questions every Monday, and we do have trivia questions today. We want to thank our sponsors for coming with that. That will take place at about 1:45 today, and of course you can call in, and you have to be the fourth caller today to get that answer correct. The sponsor today is 4-Star Pizza.
4-Star, yeah.
A $25 gift voucher. So we will give that question out. Of course, the number $2 292-9595. And we will give you the trivia question out at about 1:45, and you have to be the fourth caller to get that correct answer. Our guest today will be no strangers to the show. Mr. Kenny Thompson, one of the island's finest coaches, and of course, former player of his era. He will be joining us at 12:30. And then, of course, the president of the Blue Football Association. The calendar year for 2018 looks kind of promising. An international match possibility on the works in March of this year, so we'll be discussing that. And of course, we have Dave Wolf, Fit for Life with Dave Wolf, a conditioning trainer who is probably, I will say, the fittest person on the island right now. He will give you some rundown on how to stay in shape for 2018, expectations, goals. Of course, he has a Fit for Life class. I went to his class this morning at 6 a.m. It's a great class. Woke me up.
Oh. And you're still awake.
And I'm still awake, right? And it got me on my way. And I hadn't done the class in 4 weeks.
Right.
And so I did it last week, Wednesday. Oh, I felt like I hadn't done it about a year.
Right.
And then today was much better. So, of course, the more you do, the better you get at it.
Yeah.
And he has a few classes that will offer lunchtime and evening classes. And, of course, we'll be discussing that much more later today when he comes on board. He'll be joining us at 1:15 today.
Okay.
If you want to get in shape, high impact, 45-minute high impact class, running, pushing sleds, rowing, kettlebell swings.
What happens if you're not a morning person?
He has afternoon classes.
Oh, okay.
1 o'clock, and I think 1 or 2, I can't remember the exact times, and he has evening classes.
Oh, okay.
And he also does personal training. So it's a combination of things.
Okay.
I like the morning because it kickstarts my day.
Right.
Excuse me. And it gets things going. So I really like that. So,
okay.
Again, that will be our agenda for guests today on Inside Sports Talk Radio. We're going to take our first commercial break, and we'll discuss some other things on the international scene. Of course, this big weekend was Liverpool. Yes, we won on Friday against Everton 2-1 in the third round of the FA Cup. But obviously, we saw Philip Coutinho, the Brazilian, in return he walked away with £142 million, I think dollars and cents or something.
Like
it's $90 million, something like that, right?
What do you do? But we'll discuss
that afterwards. Yeah, we definitely discuss that afterwards. We'll take a break and be back after this.
Sports Talk Radio.
Mike was just outside trying to get in.
Who's that?
Mike, you want to ask something?
Okay.
Remember what's Snow?
Oh, Ian.
Yeah.
Let's say the first caller, whoever gets the answer right, because you say the fourth caller. You say the fourth caller. If the fourth caller calls, so that's get it right. That means that the answer right.
Well, the data was
the first person.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
There's a $250 gift certificate for new building policies, too.
Ask Colonial about
Mike
paying
still
lower
outside?
premiums
Yeah, he
year
does
after
speak
year
Dan.
at
You,
296-3700
Mike,
or
you just you know Dan, Mike
cpi.gov.
Shaw.
Oh,
We call it insurance cover without the added costs.
So
Calling
it
all
is
players.
news.
What time
Yeah,
is
but
it?
it's expensive.
I can't.
Phone
Well,
Not only
the
law.
law, right? Just put Joe on balance. Just put Joe on balance.
So what do you want me to do? Just stop? You want me to just make a pause at the beginning? Or how are you going to take it?
Say it's sponsored by Joan Barrett. Then I'll play it at the end.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
Cool, cool.
There's a Bermuda College one in there I decided to go to.
Yeah. Okay.
Ever since the famous TV dinner was introduced,
There's an intro as well for trivia.
Yeah.
the brand name the world over. We're featuring one of their relatively new products, Swanson's Broth. Swanson's Broth hits the perfect balance between the vegetable and meat ingredients, bringing a real flavor boost to your cooking, naturally adding extra richness and nutritional value to stews and casseroles, rice and couscous, and even poultry stuffing. This month you can try Swanson's chicken, beef, and natural goodness chicken broth. Linda, why go anyplace else?
Every successful lawyer needs a well-trained support. Meet Carol Hott, graduate of the Chartered Institute of Legal Executives Program, available at Bermuda College.
I specialise in private client law, which is for individuals and not for big corporate organisations. You can range from doing trust work, probate work, making wills.
And what is a typical day like in the life of a legal executive?
It's varied. It's nice building relationships with clients through the years, and also intermediaries like investment managers and bankers that you deal with on a day-to-day basis.
Carol's next step.
Probably in 5 to 10 years' time, I would hope I'm doing more of the same, building my knowledge and feel that I can do things more on my own.
There's more. You can select one particular area of law with the Silex single subject certificates, such as criminal law and family law. For a full listing, visit college.be and register today.
Bermuda Broadcasting Company is pleased to present Inside Health, featuring Don Bassett and Sarah McKittrick, diabetes educator of the Bermuda Diabetes Association on Power 95 FM radio. This new 45-minute live and in-depth analysis will provide the latest information on diabetes and health-related topics. The program will feature testimonials from those reaping the rewards of making lifestyle changes to improve their health. Lines will be open for your participation. That's Inside Health with Don Bassett and Sarah McKittrick, beginning Tuesday, February 9th, 12:15 p.m. on Power 95 FM. Brought to you by Linden Cooper Company and the Artist Group.
Now, back to Inside Sports Talk Radio.
Inside Sports Talk Radio
On Power 95 FM.
with host Ian Rollins and co-host Earl Baster.
And welcome back to Inside Sports Talk Radio. As we said going to commercial break, we were talking about big transfer of Liverpool taking place this weekend, but also going to talk about Darwin Rollins, who had a fine knock. He's back in form with cricket this weekend. I think he made 44 and came 2 for 50.
Yeah. They played Penrith
Right.
yesterday. That was his first knock for 2018. He didn't play on Saturday in the team. They won on Saturday, but he was in the 50-over team on yesterday. They were in deep trouble.
Right.
They were 36 for 3, and he had an 81-run partnership with Benjamin Magnetti. Got him out of a bit of a hole, but eventually he fell for 44. Benjamin scored, I think, 61, and then Penrith they were all out for 184, and then Penrith scored 185 for 5 with about, I think, 7.4 overs to go.
Oh.
Yeah.
They were well ahead of the run rate.
Oh yeah. They were always in control. A bad start is always a difficult one to come back from, as we've seen in the Ashes. England finished in Ashes. But the one thing is that they didn't use 5 minutes. So, yeah.
No, it's 4-0, right?
Right, they lost 4 out of 5. But it's a good start. Dalray finished off 2017, guiding his team to a trophy with a half century. He goes back. His first knock of 2018 is 44, and he's still building well. So, the future looks bright. Hopefully, he gets everything he's looking for in 2018 and more, because there are going to be opportunities for him in the England Lions team, and of course, anything further than that. There's always that talk that he can play for Bermuda, but I think his focus right now is to cross the bridge and make it into the England team.
What do you think his chances are if that opportunity came for representing England?
Actually, to be honest, they're good. If you look at it right now, England are struggling in the bowling department, and they would, well, that too. But the dimension that he brings is a left arm spinner,
Right.
and right now they've got a whole host of right arm spinners. Moeen Ali was in favor, out of favor, but still in the team. There was a lot of people complaining about his approach to this tour. And you had a youngster, one of the youngsters that went on tour with Delray to India, made his debut in this last test. So there's opportunities out there for the slower bowlers for England, because they're going to need to mix it up. You can't just dominate in England because of the swing and the movement you get. But when you go on tour, you need those guys who can not only bowl, bat, but also field. And I think he brings a dimension that they will be very interested in the very near future.
Sort of like your Ian Botham, 3-point player?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
And England hasn't had one of those in a while. They've had a batsman, yes, they've had a spinner.
Yeah, their last one, I believe you can recall, would be Flintoff.
Yeah.
But he was a party guy.
Right, that was a letdown, that he liked to party.
Well, I mean, sometimes, if you look at it, sometimes you have to let the person express themselves within reason. It wasn't like he wasn't performing when he was, doing that.
No,
he was performing.
They expected more because
off the field.
No, on the field.
Oh,
on the field. No, expected more on the field.
Right.
Because of his athleticism.
Right.
He was a big lad. I think he was 6'5", 220, fit for life type thing. But you're right. His personal life off the field affected his performance on the field. There were times when he's showing.
Right now, England's got a lot of problems off the field that don't have anything to do with cricket itself. When you got players considered fighting at nightclubs or pubs, you have players pouring drinks on each other in a club. That's all off the field, but it relates to stuff that's happened on the field. Because I'm pretty sure the incident with Ben would have been someone saying something about the performance of him and his team. Leading into that Ashes tour. And then when you have players doing, things, it all comes out. It's unfortunate, but hey, it is what it is. Yeah.
Real quickly, switching over, still in European or English football, call it, Liverpool losing Coutinho on the transfer. I think
no surprise, though, is it?
No, it's not a surprise. I was hoping that Liverpool would cut a deal where he says, okay, look, we'll let you sign to Barca, but stay on until the end of the season. Champions football. Get the FA Cup, obviously, winning on Friday. And obviously finishing the top 4 for the Premier League. But his heart was set, his mind was set, his soul was set for Barcelona. And
so who's out?
Meaning who's out?
At Barcelona, somebody's got to be out.
Well, Iniesta, it's probably going to wrap up his. I don't know if he's in his last year's contract, but that's his skills to replace. But Barca's building for the future. These guys getting older, getting their younger, so he's getting older.
Well, how old is he?
25. Looks older. It's kind of old, but it's 25. And so it's done.
So what are you doing with that $190 million
dollars? I hope we spend it wisely. I wouldn't be surprised if we get no one. I wouldn't be surprised if we do get someone in this transfer window in January 2018. Majority of clubs do all that transferring in the summer. You don't want to let your best players go mid-season and go help someone else.
Right.
You struggle, right? So I'm kind of used to that. So hopefully we spend it wisely. When we let Suarez go, we bought half the Southampton players in there. And the rest is history. Brendan Rodgers, right? Klopp has more of a football knowledge. He's outsmarting Brendan, but he has more contacts and more respect. You have to his own game. So we'll wait and see. If we get a great player in January, would it help us? Yes, sure. We still offload some people. I've been saying for last year to Liverpool fans that Daniel Sturridge needs to go. He wants to play World Cup, so that'd be good. I'm no problem with that. He's always injured. The last 3 years is probably giving us 30% performance regarding the number of games played. Right? So, can't worry about that, man.
Right.
Let him go play for someone else, be a great footballer,
right.
Make the World Cup for England,
Right.
make the start, and then after that, he injured again.
Right.
If you with me, then
Right.
that tells me right there. If he does that performance, right, if he does all that, that tells me he pays for himself, man. Which I'm still been saying he pays for himself.
Now remember, you go back to saying it's a business,
Yeah,
and you are basically on show for your next talent.
you're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah, you want your team to do well.
Yeah.
But it's about you actually performing enough to get a $90 million transfer.
Yeah.
And then up here's your weekly, monthly, yearly base
Wages.
salary.
And you're right.
Yeah.
But the problem is he's always been injured.
Right.
So if you're gonna pay for yourself, I'm looking from the business perspective. Okay, I'm a businessman. Bye. Bye.
Okay.
I'm easy with that.
Yeah.
Easy with that.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. As long as we're on the same page, you don't have no problem with that. You're not corrupt the administration side. Good. Not a problem. Not a
Not
problem.
a Liverpool. Well, actually, Liverpool has played in blue, so yeah, they could be all right.
You're starting
Why are
to-
you speechless, man?
I'm not. I'm
I
just
tell
laughing.
you, and
I'm
I
just
proved
laughing.
it to you. Didn't I prove it to
You
you?
like your blue.
Didn't I prove it to you that every team had a
That's
blue
good.
strip,
I have no problem.
even
with
United?
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Even St. George's.
Yeah.
Even Somerset.
That's right. That's right.
Cup is in the West.
So no problem. That's where Cup match is.
But the Cup's there, right? Don't say any bank. Don't.
It's going to be up there. It's going to be up there.
Well, what team has it? Let's put it that way.
And you said don't say the bank, right?
Right.
2018, brother.
Right. What team? Who's the defending champions?
Somerset.
Okay. That's what I'm
No problem.
Make it very clear.
Okay.
Well, Kenny Thompson's joined us in the studio. We're going to take a commercial break, and we come back. We'll speak to none other than finest man in football, Kenny Thompson. We'll be back after this.
Has been presented to you by Windows Group of Companies, Colonial Group International, Global Atlantic
You
Financial
have his,
Group,
you have his intro?
Yeah, show the intro.
Yeah, do his intro. Not the trivia. The key tech.
Our
K-Tech.
lives are busy,
They
more
sent that to you?
complicated. So you need a health plan that's easy to use, like Premier Health.
Registered local providers can check your cover
All
and
right,
file claims
idea.
online.
Enrollment is online too.
70% of claims are made at home.
With Colonial, it can be less complicated.
Less paperwork.
And your
Hey, give
provider
me
Central
will
Life?
pay
Or?
quick.
No, not Fit for Life. It's
96%
K
of claims are
Tech.
settled in 5 days.
All right, I'll set it up next time. I'll set it up. They're done. They put it in for the next show. It's
Oh.
29.
CGIGroup.com.
So don't worry
Calling
about it. I
all
know
players.
what
What time is it? It's game time.
I should have came on earlier.
Key?
No, K.
Just K?
Yeah.
K-Y?
K. No, K. T-E-C-H.
And more. Weekly
K-Tech. You don't
promotions.
have that?
Oh.
Instant win games. Be a lucky loser
Should
with
be
our
there.
weekly draw. Become a game time player.
K-T-E-C-H,
Call into one of our 3
no.
locations in Somerset, Town, or St. George's. For more details, visit
Okay.
gametime.bm or call 296-3222. Game Time. You play, we play. Game Time is a socially responsible gaming establishment.
Rice provides more than 1/5 of the calories consumed globally by humans. It's one of the world's ancient foods dating back over 10,000 years. After visiting China and learning about the wondrous varieties of rice,
Put it in, but when you come in the
culinary
29,
explorers want to make food specializing in exotic heirloom rice and noodles. This month we're featuring a delicious
But not a finger yesterday.
variety packs of organic chocolate.
Yeah, well, I didn't get to school until I touched Friday.
Oh, you came in
I
last
just got back last night.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Food
Close to
Broadcasting
school?
Company is
No.
pleased to present Inside Health, featuring Don Bassett
Whoa.
and Sarah
Get out of
McKittrick,
here.
Diabetes
Oh,
Educator
okay.
of the
Yeah.
Premier Diabetes Association.
What did he leave?
Power 95 FM radio. This new 45-minute
So when would you do the trivia? You said
I'll do it after the show.
After
him.
this?
Yeah.
Okay.
on diabetes and health-related topics. The program will feature testimonials from those.
What you can do, you can break and I'll do a commercial break, and the intro will be at the end.
Yeah, that's fine. Sure.
Cool.
That's Inside Health with Don Bassett and Sarah McKittrick. Beginning Tuesday, then your night, both between Power 95 FM. Brought to you by Windows Group of Companies and the Arctic.
Now, back to Inside Sports Talk Radio. Inside Sports Talk Radio with Power 95 FM with host Ian Lowe and co-host Earl Kingston.
And welcome back. As we said in the studio with us right now, is Mr. Kenny Thompson. He has a segment called Kitty Tech. And of course, we're just starting it a bit today, but we're definitely kicking it off on the 29th of this month. Good afternoon, Kenny. How you doing?
I'm fine. Good afternoon.
Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year. Thank you.
You still traveling?
Just got off last night. So,
How do you do that, man?
used to it now.
You still?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. What's on the horizon with your organization and with your company going forward?
Well, basically, it's kind of the same in terms of we have the training program in which young players come in. They train first thing in the morning. It's basically to provide just a higher level of development and training for young players. another opportunity to get some intense training, tactical, a little bit of physical in terms of the intensity that we demand from them. And also in conjunction with Beast Gym, they go to the Beast Gym once a week on Wednesday mornings, and the trainers there works with them on things like this, from a basic foundational standpoint, agility, energy development, just basically these skills for the age level that we're dealing with, which in this case is youngest side, is 9 years old, and some of the players are for 13 years old.
Do you see an improvement when they take on this course on a Wednesday morning? I think it's at 6:30.
Yeah, they train from 6:30 until 7:30 mornings, and we do an alternate weekly training program in which during 1 week it will be 3 sessions a week, and during the next week it will be 4 sessions a week. So during the 3 sessions, it's Mondays at BAA in the field, Thursdays also in the field, and then in between that on the Wednesdays in the gym. Then on the next week it will be a 4-week training session program. And so in those weeks it's Monday, Thursday, and Friday in the field, and Wednesday in the gym. So it's a big commitment, but the players they're up to it. You know, they get up in the morning, they do it, and it's sort of like I guess coming from Bermuda, it's something that's required from a standpoint of you have to sacrifice a little bit.
That's true.
If you want to be something, you know, and in this case, the big sacrifice is, you know, in some cases, how badly do you want to go to where you'd like to go? And in this case, then if it means that you have to get out to make 6:30 in the morning, then how badly do you want? You know, I talk to young players. I was talking to a young player today who was in the gym, and he's currently in the UK. He's had experience in Spain. Was a part of the 10-month program over there where he was going to school and training and playing over there, and he did that for 2 years. So he understands fully what the competitive level is. So now that he's in the UK, he's home. I think he leaves on Wednesday to go back to the UK. But during the time period he's home, he's doing his training. You know, he trained this morning. I watched him train very, very hard. And he's doing that because he understands. He understands from those 2 years in Spain how difficult football at that level is, how much competition there is at that level, no matter what age group you're in. So basically, because he understands that, then he's prepared to make the sacrifice of, even during the time when he's home on his holiday, that he knows he has to train. Because from a basic standpoint, his competitors are doing that, and they probably
Just prior to the new year, you took some youngsters aboard to the tournament. But my question would be, what was the reaction of the parents who went for the first time? Because this is going to be their story to another parent on whether or not they can assist their youngster in making that extra step.
Yeah, that's a good question, and you know, happy to speak about that, because the thing is that, you know, we want to say to the players that, listen, the level is big abroad, and the competition is fierce. So we demand that you do A, B, and C, and then going on a trip like this to kind of put them in that real environment. But then, as you said, the parents are important. So it's one thing to say to the boys that, you know, and girls, that this is what's required. But then it helps when the parents understand fully, you know, why we're making these demands. And so the parents that attended, they have no doubt in their mind of why certain demands are made. And you know, some of the parents were they're let's call them football guys. You know, so now they have a new appreciation for what football is and what football is like, at that level, because it's easy to kind of have that my bar is good mentality here in Bermuda when you only understand what football's like in Bermuda.
Right.
But having seen what they saw over there, they were blown away by the level. The level is incredible. I mean, I practically live in that environment, and every time I go back, I'm blown away. That it even seems to even get the players seem to get better and better. So I go back this time, and I'm like, this is incredible. The level, it's just like watching the professional football that we watch on television, except that boys are 10 and 11 years old. I took the opportunity, Devray Tankard, who's a good friend of mine, and I coached Devray from young. And Devray is a very smart guy, someone who I don't mind having long conversations with, talking about football, very sensible. And so I've always explained to Devray what it's like, in particular in this Catalan region, and this tournament that we go to, amazing football, amazing level, etc. And so because Devray in the last few months, through his job, was working in Ireland, I said to him, why don't you come over for the weekend, take this opportunity to see what it is that I've been telling you about over these years. And so he came over. And as I said, Devray is an extremely bright guy. You can explain something to him and he understands it, he took it on board. But there's no way that I can explain it to you, and I know that you're not getting the full picture. I can explain it to you, and you can take it in. You understand what I'm saying. I think you believe it. But there's no way that you can fully understand it unless you see it. And so I offered this opportunity, and he came over. And he came over on the Saturday. He watched all the matches on the Saturday, and then worked the matches up until the final on the Sunday. And his reaction was kind of like, all of our conversations didn't prepare me for this.
Really?
This is insane. It's incredible, the level. It's unbelievable. It's really unbelievable. I can, without, I guess, we don't want to, the idea is to put the players in this position that they get a real experience of what this is like. Without, I want to say we have to be careful not to kind of cause them to lose confidence, at the same time. But, the best way to kind of help somebody understand is to just put them in the environment. I can say categorically that pretty much most of the teams that were in that tournament, our under 15 teams wouldn't be able to live with. And this was an under 11 category. So when we're still saying things like, and I call it the Premier Football myth now, that we can compete with anybody in the world up until 16 and 17, that's not anybody.
Right.
Right? That the level is extremely high. Now we have a lot of potential, and I want to stress that potentially we are and can be as good as those international players. But because of the, let's say, the football culture and the structured environment that they're in, then we start to lose ground. Sometimes as early as I've seen evidence 7 and 8 years old, that we're already losing ground because of the environment, because of the structure. Where those players, they're getting it from the start, so they have to compete, they have to fight for to get to certain levels. And so 10 years of that compared with 10 years of what we have in Bermuda, there's no comparison, none at all. And so we put them in a very difficult situation. We played a top amateur club in the first game. in a preparation game and deliberately played this top club and the A team because we want to stress to the boys, this is the real deal.
Mm-hmm.
And so there was no chance, double figures, score line. And so then we say, okay, now this is what we're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
You know? And so we go to the tournament, not with, as I said before we left, you can leave here with the idea that we'd like to be as competitive as possible and we'd like to try to win. And then kickoff happens and then reality comes into effect.
Mm-hmm.
So personally, I don't go there with any illusion that, we're going to come out of the groove and we're going to make it to the later stages of the competition and stuff like that. What we're looking for is that there's first oh wow, I didn't realize it was like this. Then a reaction. And we're looking for an immediate reaction of, okay, if I need to run more,
Mm-hmm.
then let me at least run more. Let me play at a high intensity. In the next day, if it's a training session, let me work technically to be faster.
Right.
Because there's no space, there's no time to do anything. So you have to be technically quick. You have to be one step ahead tactically of what you're going to do before you get the ball. You have to be physical and so on. So I want to see that, again, realistically, are all those things going to be in place by the time they leave, having spent a week there? No chance.
No.
Mm.
What I'm looking for immediately is an attitude change. That if you were looking at the bird kind of flying across the field while the coach was giving information, I need to see now that your eyes are locked on that coach.
Mm.
If you missed one or two words of advice from the coach, I need to see immediately that you're so locked in that you are on every word of that coach, and so on and so on. So again, I'm just looking for that attitude change.
Right.
That then, when they come back to Bermuda, then it affects their mentality and attitude to what they're doing in the programs when they get back here. And so I know that was the same for me. My first experience as a player in Europe, it was like, oh my goodness, I didn't realize it was like this. But my reaction was immediate. And I can say that I've been in conflict with Bermuda football ever since. As a result of that first experience. Wow. Because then I didn't accept a lot of things.
From your experience.
Yeah. And the other thing is that I didn't even depend on other people from that point. Because of that experience, then if I didn't get certain things that wherever I was, that I did it on my own. So I didn't depend on the coach to get me fit. After that, I got myself fit. Now if the coach and the team did their fitness work, that's fine. But I was doing that as a result of this.
Right.
So it was a mentality change. It was a mindset change, and that's what we're looking for these players.
How do we maintain that though? How do you maintain the youngsters? Because not all of them are in your club team. Because you already said you have players that come in from other clubs and all that.
Yeah.
But when they go back to their clubs, how do they maintain that level of focus and commitment?
Yeah, it's and we spoke to the players about that as I said from my personal experience, that now they have to have this idea. I don't know what it's like in the other clubs. So I don't know what level of coaching they're getting in whatever team that they're playing for. So even at BAA, it's not necessarily that I may not be the coach of a certain team, and I'm not the coach of the youth teams now. So now, no matter who the coach is, you have an idea as an individual player of what it's like. So now it's important that you bring an individuality to your approach to the training now.
Right.
You know what I mean? So if it's a 4v4 game action exercise, then you need to be playing at that level that you felt
right
when you were in Barcelona.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
Intensity and
And,
so
and
on.
you're correct. Let me just interject. It's hard to keep that level up if you're not a part of your program. So have any of the players, and I'm not disrespecting or anything like that, have they said, look, I need to leave this club or this team and go train Kenny because Kenny has this at this level as opposed to their current club?
Well, that's now the situation with the. I mean, we've had that situation in the past, and now that's the situation now. Getting back to the morning training program,
Okay.
that now players can get that level, uh, regardless of where
Where
what
we go
club they're
play.
playing.
Yeah.
Fair
Yeah.
enough.
You know
Fair
what I
enough.
mean?
Good.
So
Good.
so I have no problem if you know if you are a player from Somerset and a player from St George's or St David's or anybody in between, then that's your club. You want to stay at that club, then that's fine. If you feel that you need to get something extra, then this is what this program is.
Mm.
Fair enough.
You know what I mean? So now with that understanding, they have with the real experience they have now, they can make informed decisions
Right.
Right.
in terms of how they approach their training wherever they are, and to say, okay, I need a little bit extra. Let me be a part of this other program. And then further to that, then there are other opportunities now that are coming up as a result of the experiences of these sorts of tournaments. So, for example, this same group uh, will now be have the opportunity to travel to Holland
Okay.
in August. Will provide that opportunity for them to say, okay, the experiences in Spain in December 2017, August 2018, we can be in that environment again. But now they have something to reflect on from the experience in December in terms of now when we get together to prepare for August, then they're starting from a different level this time.
Right.
When they came to me in October training for December, they had no idea what I was talking about. When I'm saying that you have to do A, B, and C because it's like this, they had no idea.
Right.
Now they do. So they can come in on a different level now
Right.
to go to a situation where in Holland, then they can be a little bit better prepared.
That's true.
And then they have to look for the next opportunity. So try to get out and in that environment as often as possible. You know, even for me as a coach, as a director, it's important that I don't stay here too long. You know, I need to be in that environment as often as possible, which I've been doing for the last 20 years, because it's very easy to get back here and then okay, you know, you get comfortable in a certain situation, and like I said, I go every time I go back, I'm blown away again. You know, and over the years there was this thing with you know, a certain group of players that I had and certain parents as well that I always came back with more demands. So it was almost like when I got back, then I'd have a talk with the players, and I'd say something like, um, you know, now you know you have to do this, you know that you have to do that, and now I'm going to push you more, and I'll ask them why, and they'll say, because Coach Thompson is meaner when he comes back after those experiences. And it's true, you know, I make more demands as a result of coming back from an experience like that, because it is unbelievable. You just have to see it for yourself to fully understand it. And when I say without exaggeration that these under 11 teams, there are, you know, for at least half of those teams, our under 15 teams in Bermuda would not be able to live with them. And I'm talking technically, and physically as well. It's just an incredible level.
Well, Kenny, our time is up. We can definitely talk more about it on the 29th when we kick-start your show again on the 29th of January. Is there anything like that before we wrap up?
Yeah, during the next one, we can also be discussing the upcoming youth football championships, which is the final kind of stretch of kind of planning and getting that up and running, and that's part of, you know, this whole thing as well, is that we need to provide our players with an environment that is competitive and structured and vibrant, whereas they can develop
Sure.
faster.
That's what you need.
Yeah. So we'll have more details about that.
Okay, definitely. Again, that will be on the 29th of January, and it'll be every other Monday after that. Just doing a special on-call with Albert Kenny on this one here, but he'll be joining us every other Monday starting January 29th. Keith at Kenny Thompson. That will be at 12:30 every other Monday. We're going to take a commercial break and be back after this.
Sports Talk Radio is presented to you by Windows Super Company.
Once your intro is in there, we're straight to go.
Yeah, I have it all hooked up for today, and it's brought to you by Windows. It's all in the two.
Okay.
All right.
Coca-Cola has been refreshing convenience since 1927 when it was
Yeah, no
first
problem.
brought here
You
by
take
John
care of
Barrett's Unlimited at their production
That's
facility
amazing.
in Hamilton.
On the 15s can't handle beyond the 11s, right?
No,
Jesus.
It's a level of competition. You can't even
That's
go.
New York, 212 New York area code.
Yeah, 212.
Yeah, I had a call came in just now.
Oh, okay.
and it's so. And like I said, the players they're just like young professionals. You know what I mean? They you watch and you say, how does a player at that level, at that age, understand how to play football like that?
So it means they started probably when you were like 5.
Yeah. And I've seen we were there 1 year. We were playing a practice game. So we were here on this side of the pitch during the course of 7 seconds. Back there was a program of, like, I would say at the earliest, they were like 4 or 5 years old. Right? And the coach had like 18 players. And we had about 9 down that side, and 9 here, 1 coach. So 9 here were doing certain hurdle exercises, certain coordination, whatever. 9 over there were doing certain ball exercises. So Keith could only manage 1 group at a time. So you go over here, and these guys won't tap. Those guys are 4 or 5 years old. They won't tap to it. And then you come over here, and these guys will tap. I said to the VA coach that was with me at the time, I said, look, stop watching the VA for a minute and just pay attention to what's happening. Wow. Nobody was. He went down there. So, yeah, because they're in an environment that they recognize that if I don't do it, somebody else is going to do it.
Yeah, bottom.
Yep, standing up.
So,
Cool.
You can take it right up to 1, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Have a good one.
yes.
Yes, sir?
Yeah.
Thanks.
Now, back to Inside Sports Talk Radio. Inside Sports Talk Radio on Power 95 FM. With hosts Ian Rollins and
Trivia.
Earl Beasley.
The news.
Okay, well, we were going to do the sports trivia quarter to 1. We'll do it just after the news, and of course, the Dave Walker at 1:15. But just after news, we'll go straight to the sports trivia question. It was so intriguing to listen to what Kenny had to present. Earl, he's telling you, our under 15s will not be able to hold up under 11s overseas. And just off during commercial break, he was telling us they start at 4 and 5 years old. And they're well drilled, well mannered.
Well, and that's it. It's the level of competition that they face on a daily basis.
Right.
And their lies, what they're up against and what we're up against. Sheer volume.
True.
That's what it is.
Yeah,
Volume.
that's true.
Yeah.
And then obviously commitment.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. But if the volume was bigger, then that commitment obviously becomes a much stronger tool to use.
Right.
And you'll get that attitude change. But with the limited amount, it's hard to motivate somebody who knows, okay, I'm in this group, I'm the best. So why do I need to put in as much as I need to put in?
Right.
Because we have to start looking at changing that mindset and saying, I don't care who the best is. I want the committed ones.
And that's why a lot of young athletes, male and female, are leaving the island 10 and 9 years old.
Yeah.
Not no more 15 and 16,
Yeah.
but
10
10
younger.
and 9. It's amazing.
And younger.
So we got the news coming up at 1 o'clock, and we're going to take a break, and we'll be back after this. He sent you the news?
Yes, I'm all straight. After the actual the weather, I'll go right into sports trivia.
Right.
Okay, cool. Earl, check this out. I'm going to be punches from call to call to call. I know you won't be able to get your audio from the phone call because it'll be too much for me to cut mic and go back. So I'll just let it go.
Dozens of court workers and members of the public were evacuated out of the Supreme and Magistrate Court building in Hamilton this morning Due to a
Yeah,
bomb
tight
threat,
shows, alright?
the Bermuda
That's what we
Police
like.
Service
So we like
and
it.
Bermuda Fire
Yeah,
and
man.
Rescue personnel rushed to the Dame Lois Brown Evans building on the corner of Court and Queen Street and the House of Parliament to begin evacuating the area shortly before 10 a.m. Traffic diversions were put in place, blocking access to Court Street, Queen, and Victoria Street. However, following a sweep of the area at 10:20, staff and persons using the court buildings were told they could return to work. All court proceedings were suspended until the area was deemed safe to the public. The delay to the magistrate court plea session and arraignment session was about an hour. And this press release just in, the Minister of National Security, the Honorable Wayne Kane, stated, all threats of this nature are taken seriously, and as a precaution, staff were evacuated from Global House and the Dame Lois Evans buildings. The most important thing is always the safety of staff. It is unfortunate that someone would do something so malicious to
Mark's coming
impact
at
commerce
1:30.
and
So
disrupt
instead
not
of bringing
only
me a
the
no,
courts,
I
but
tell
the work
Diggs
of
at
everyone
1:15.
in
Diggs
these
on a
buildings.
tight schedule.
A man is charged in the Supreme Court for the 2010 premeditated murder of Perry Puckering. Appearing during this morning's arraignment session, 34-year-old Jeremiah Dill of Pembroke pleaded not guilty to unlawfully killing Perry Mosley Puckering Jr. on January 3, 2010. He also denies using a firearm to commit the indictable offense of premeditated murder on the same date. Dill is represented by lawyer Charles Richardson. Justice Charles Etta Simmons adjourned the matter for mention on January 15th. Meanwhile, a Bermuda Police Service inspector pleaded not guilty to causing grievous bodily harm to a man. Barry Richards denies causing grievous bodily harm to Aronde Wilson Jr. by driving a motor car without due care and attention on North Shore Road in Hamilton Beach. The offense is said to have taken place on September 19, 2017. Richards, represented by lawyer Mark Daniels, was bailed on his own recognizance and is due to reappear in court on January 15th. The Family Center welcomes the government's announcement of a public consultation on the proposed sugar tax in a bid to tackle obesity and diabetes in Bermuda. Dr. Sandy DeSilver, Director of Services for the Family Center, tells us that obesity does not rank high on the list of concerns expressed by their clientele. However, the possibility of a sugar tax may well encourage dialogue on healthy eating habits.
Allowing a public consultation process is wonderful in just opening it up to get every person's voice in there if they have something to say. I think overall the cost of food weighs heavily, no pun intended, on people's minds. And we were just talking about, in fact, how often it is felt that food probably eats up the majority of your salary, although it is the cost of your shelter, whether it's your rent or your mortgage and health costs. But because we're buying food on a daily basis or making food on a daily basis, it is mind-consuming in terms of how much we're spending on it. So I think for lower middle-income families, they will think about this sugar tax probably a bit more. So I'm hoping that their voices will come out and be heard. I think we need to look at, of course, I'm sure the government is looking at the evidence for whether sugar taxing in other countries has actually led to greater health benefits, so that we're not just increasing cost on something and not getting the outcomes that we're looking for. So where will the government's investment be in the long-term research on the outcomes of it? Another concern I would have is that, we need to put as much investment in taxing of something that we find not good for us as much as the prevention pieces, because then also a person could go into the grocery store and just buy the cheaper brand of that, soft drink. So they're trying to spend maybe what they spent before, but just on a different brand.
And I'm Mike Sharp with Bermuda Broadcasting News, which is brought to you by Barrett.
The Welch's Juice Company is owned by more than 900 farmers growing Concord and Niagara grapes. These special grapes grow to perfection with the right mix of sunshine, rainfall, and cool nights that they are kept and fresh pressed to make Welch's 100% grape juice. Our grape juice is packed with bold flavor and nutritional benefits, and no added sugar. Visit Welch's.com for healthy recipes. This weather update is provided by the Bermuda Weather Service, sponsored by.
All right, thank you, Mike Schaub. Weather-wise, currently in the Isles of Bermuda, sun and cloud conditions, mixture of sun and clouds, northeasterly winds, light winds. Expected high today, 64 degrees. For tonight, part of mostly cloudy skies, winds out of the east, light to moderate. A low expected tonight, 60. Tuesday, some sunny breaks, a chance of a couple of showers during the daytime hours. Winds are from the southeast, light to moderate for Tuesday, high then 68 degrees, a low 61. Checking for the hump day Wednesday, sun and clouds again. Winds are out of the north, high 69, a low 63 degrees. Checking ahead for Thursday, sunny periods, nice. Thursday, high 72, a low 65.
This weather update was provided by the Bermuda Weather Service, sponsored by BF&M.
I want to thank the folks at BF&M and the Bermuda Weather Service.
Now, back to Inside Sports Talk Radio. Inside Sports Talk Radio on Power 95 FM with host Ian Rollins and co-host Earl Baster. This weekly segment of the Sports Trivia has been brought to you by 4-Star Pizza, A.S. Cooper, and Sun Limited, Fort Knox, Bermuda, and Sports Source.
As we promised, we will have our first sports trivia question of 2018 on today. And we're supposed to record one, but we're gathering the page on information on football. So we're picking up right now. Again, give us a call at 292-9595 for that answer. And the first question is, how many years was Bermuda's Nigel Chopper Hazel a professional cricket player coach in Scotland and the UK? Again, that question is, how many years was Bermuda's Nigel Chopper Hazel a professional cricket player coach in Scotland and the UK? The number to call is 292-9595. Give us a call.
And you're feeling like that.
I know, my feeling like that too. Yeah, that's interesting. Call 292-9595. Not myself, so don't call Ian, folks. 292-9595.
That's somebody calling to say, Ian, give me the answer.
Yeah, give me the answer, right? I can't give you the answer. Again, I'll repeat that question. How many years was Bermuda's Nigel Chopper Hazel a professional cricket player coach in Scotland and the UK? That's a pretty straightforward one, I think.
Yeah.
You have a chance to get a $25 gift certificate from the
Go online already, man. Go online already.
Yeah, online, but you're calling the wrong line.
No. Looking online.
Trying to figure it out. Trying to figure it out. You're probably right. Yeah, you're probably right. So let's see what happens. At 1:15, we will have Mr. Dave Wolf joining us again. Fit for Life with Dave Wolf. And the president of the Football Association, Mr. Bob Ray, will join us at 1:30. As we said, he will be introducing things that on the pipeline for Bermuda's Football International, possibly matches in March of this year. So it'll be interesting to see what he has to bring forward for us.
Yeah, I mean, every year you look around and you say, okay, what can we achieve next? And I think sporting bodies are getting better, need to get better as well at making sure the public is well advised early enough of what's going on. And then people could make arrangements, make plans. Possibly if teams are traveling abroad, we can all, Bermudians love to travel. And I keep saying this, and if early information is given, you might find not just the people that live in those places, but people that live in Bermuda traveling with or traveling to watch the teams perform. And because everyone has favorites and favorite sports. So none other than going to another place and taking a vacation, and watching Bermuda play while I'm on vacation, because it's all a part of planning.
That's true.
And I know there are times where things are last minute, but for the majority, if you give people an idea that there's a possible tour coming up in July, then people can make those plans. You know what I mean? So it's all about making the plans. And for those sporting bodies that don't think people are watching, there's a lot of people watching. And it's not just you in the sporting body that are making the plans to go to these places, because they're no matter what sport it is, Bermudians love to travel and they love to watch sports. So just give them a heads up, and you'll be surprised who might follow.
Yeah. Right. Again, folks, don't call me. Do not call me. Do not text me. Do not WhatsApp me. Call 292.
You have Ian Rollins' number.
9595. I know you're getting this number, but Do not call me, text me, or WhatsApp me.
Brother.
292-9595. That's the number to call.
Next week, Don, Ian will have the trivia question asked prior to, because I know his friends will be saying, give me the question first, and then I can call you.
Yeah. No,
I don't have to call you.
That's all right.
That's not gonna happen.
Not gonna happen.
You're probably right. They will ask.
Yeah, I know.
They'll probably ask that, right? I'll give that question again. How many years was Bermuda's Nigel Chopper Hazel a professional cricket player coach in Scotland and the UK? Do not call Ian. Call Power 95 292-9595. Since Dave is here, we're going to start off with Dave a little earlier than 1:15. Again, I give people an opportunity to give us a call to get their question, correct? As you said, they're probably Googling trying to get the answer, so I'll give you enough time to research it and get that answer. We're going to take a commercial break, and when we come back, we're going to have Fit for Life with Dave Wolf.
And Sports Talk Radio has been presented to you by Windows Group of Companies, Colonial Group
Live intro,
Financial Group,
821.
and Fit for Life with Dave Wolf. We'll return after the break.
Ever since the famous TV dinner was introduced in 1952, Swanson has been
Yeah, sir, I got to call Jack. I got a call early from New York. I picked it up, nobody came through.
Swanson hits the perfect balance between the vegetable and meat ingredients, bringing a real flavor boost to your cooking. Naturally adding natural richness to your traditional lettuce, sweet and sour, white sweet poultry stuffing. This
Must be on Jesus.
What's going on?
You know what was excited about Monday, Wednesday, and Friday now, right?
Happy New Year, sir.
All excited.
Yes, sir.
Nice to meet you again.
Put anyone on.
Enrollment is online too. 70% of claims are made at home. With Colonial, it can be less complicated. Less paperwork. And your provider's bill can be paid quickly. 96% of claims are settled in 5 days. Colonial, where you can help. Call 296-3300. CGIGroup.com. Calling all players. What time is it? It's game time. Fun and dependable sports betting on NFL, NBA, Major League Baseball, golf, horses, English Premier League, and more. Weekly promotions. Instant win games. Be a lucky loser with our weekly draw. Become a game time player. Call into one of our 3 locations in Somerset, Town, or St. George's. For more details, visit gametime.pm or call 296-3222. Game time. You play, we pay. Game time is a socially responsible gaming establishment.
Bermuda Broadcasting Company is pleased to present Inside Health, featuring Don Bassett and Sarah McKittrick, diabetes educator of the Bermuda Diabetes Association on Power 95 FM radio. This new 45-minute live and in-depth analysis will provide the latest information on diabetes and health-related topics. The program will feature testimonials from those reaping the rewards of making lifestyle changes to improve their health. Lines will be open for your participation. That's Inside Health with Don Bassett and Sarah McKittrick, beginning Tuesday, January 9th, 12:15 p.m. on Power 95 FM. Brought to you by Windows Group of Companies and the Argus Group.
Now, back to Inside Sports Talk Radio. Inside Sports Talk Radio on Power 95 FM with host Ian Rose and co-host Earl Mason. This segment of health and fitness is presented to you by Fit for Life with Dave Wolf.
And welcome back. It's that time with Fit for Life with Dave Wolf. Welcome to Inside Sports Talk Radio. He's going to be our new Inside Health Fitness man. Good afternoon, sir. How are you doing?
All is well.
All is well.
Good to see you guys.
Likewise. You got some good news. You started your new adventure, basically, months today. I know some trials last week.
Yeah.
Before. What's it been like thus far?
It's been good for me. Spent the better part of my adult life, pursuing fitness, health, knowledge, and so to finally culminate with my own space to work out in. It's pretty surreal, to be honest. And then I got a chance to, I guess, outfit the way I wanted to outfit it. So yeah, it's been good.
Okay.
Good, man. Thankful, very thankful.
Okay. Now, today I had the opportunity, I was telling you earlier in the show that I did your class this morning at 6 o'clock. I was in better shape today than I was last week, Wednesday.
Yeah, you had
Being away for
too much Christmas pudding.
Too much Christmas pudding and pie and so forth, right? Being away for 4 weeks, and it was like, starting all over again. What's it like to kickstart your program? You're in a new location. People obviously want to know where it's located. And Earl made a good point. Do you also have lunchtime and evening classes?
Yeah, I do. Interesting you use the word kickstart. I guess I use a tagline, which is simply stay ready. And my whole thing is you stay ready, you don't have to get ready.
That's true.
So that's really my mantra. Why don't we kind of adopt the attitude of maintaining and sustaining as a person? I mean, obviously, kickstarting is necessary, rebooting is also necessary, but I'm promoting stay ready. So I have some morning classes that I do, which are kind of robust, and some lunch hour ones, some evening ones, and then I incorporate some personal clients, some corporates, some sports teams, and mix it all together, and it's a nice little mashup. So far, so good.
I just want to explain to Earl and our listeners, what sort of program did you give us this morning? Because we did a combination of rowing, we did the kettlebell, we ran the hills, we did a bit of everything.
Basically, yeah, I try to look at some functionality, so what we would do in life. So we talked before about like functional fitness, so pulling, pushing, movement drills that kind of mimic what you would do in life. Sometimes you walk, sometimes you run, you go up steps, go down steps. So putting all those components together into a workout, sometimes, well not sometimes, all the time, is very beneficial beyond the workout, because when you get to your job, you have to move about your job. Obviously, it's high intensity. The pace is set pretty high. That's just the style that I currently do. But at the same time, you can slow it down. So if you slow it down to a slower pace, another person can use it and utilize it. So today's class was pretty high, but you can always also crank it down something so everybody can get benefit.
Do you already have a program in place when you get there in the morning, or are you looking at who's there and kind of operate in the vein of, I know what these people need?
A bit of both, That's a good question. I already had a good question. But yeah, sometimes I go. We have a little sign up that we use, so I can kind of see who's coming, and based on the group, I might, ratchet up a few notches.
Right.
But a lot of times I don't do it. I just think about, I think about what I want to do, how I want to move, and then I incorporate something like that. So a bit of both sometimes. Yeah,
When obviously when people show up, they're already motivated. Well, it's 6 o'clock in the morning. You gotta be motivated.
Yeah, sometimes they beat me there.
But that consistency is what a life coach is always looking for.
Definitely. I mean, you want to have people like that. Obviously, part of a personal trainer's job is to motivate, to encourage, right? To have that type of energy. But then it's like a performer. Somebody gets on stage, he's really feeding off his audience.
Right.
So the same kind of analogy, if people come there and they're lackluster, the attitudes, they're kind of hard. You got to dig real deep to get there. So it definitely works when people are like Ian and others who come there highly motivated. 6 in the morning to work out, especially this kind of workout, is not for everybody. I get that, because of the intensity levels. And quite frankly, it depends on what you done like before.
Right.
If you haven't had sufficient sleep, you haven't eaten well, you having stress levels, you might not be able to perform at that time. So,
When you, because you said you do some team sports as well, and not, as we know, not every player loves the physical part of, So when you're going to a particular club and you're getting ready to do a club, are you looking to see, because you could almost tell who wants to and who doesn't want to. So how do you fit that in to make sure that everyone stays involved, kind of thing?
That's question. Another good one. So I look at training as integrated all together.
Yeah.
So I play a lot of team sports. So a big part of team or even organizational groups is teamwork, team building. So having someone, for example, who's not that highly motivated, then you just sort of lean in the team dynamics, right? So you may partner up with somebody who's strong, somebody who's weak in the area, and they go with somebody who's a bit more dominant. So you're looking at those dynamics that are at play, and you try to manage a group like that. Or what I would do, I'll make it competitive. So now most people are motivated by competition.
Oh, yes.
So you put in the competitive edge. Now somebody who was now not into it initially, now he's racing his body. Gets a bit more into it. So different ways, different tricks you use to kind of bring up the best in people. That's really the goal, really, right?
And what time is your classes? Lunchtime and evening right
now? Classes are 1 p.m. For lunch, and we do 6 p.m. For the evening classes right now. Those 6 classes a week, just to really offer that dynamic. For me, I do the personal training, which is quite robust. It's a nice group of people, but I like having the energy that comes from a class, a group who come together who want to work on and achieve the goal. So it works quite well.
New Year is here, and this are people who had the Christmas pudding, the Christmas pie, a couple of drinks here and there and everywhere, and they say, you know what, I want to put in 2018 as my new goal. You as a trainer, you see it all, you hear it all each year. How do you motivate that person to stay on after 3 months? Because usually after March, people say, you know what, I'm heading off. I can't handle this. I'm not ready. How do you motivate them to stay on?
Basically, what you do is you paint the picture, big picture. So for me, I try to stay away from the short-term deals. I mean, obviously, short-term deals you apply them, but you look at again, like okay, for example, you're somebody coming out spending good money on personal training. No matter how economical you are, no matter how much you reach your rates, or you put in certain discounts, it adds up. It's expensive.
Yeah.
So what you really want is you want to have somebody who understands the importance of saying, I'm going to do something, I'm going to be able to sustain it, teach them the way how they can do it for themselves so they can continue on. Because what you don't want is to have that person who comes out and goes hard for 10 weeks, 8 weeks, and then you see them 6 months later, right? You really want to try to teach more long-term behavior. Right. That's what you really want. And then obviously for me, and I'm not just saying because I'm here, like for me it's like also changing the culture, like how do we change the culture, how do we change our hands? It's like people always say to me, like they'll be like, oh wow, another gym, like it's a bad thing. And I'm like, nobody ever says there's too many donut shops or too many pizza shops or too many fast food or too many bars on Front Street. Yeah. Like nobody says that, you know. A new bar opens up on Front Street, we just embrace it, we go there. But if a new facility opens up, we say like it's too much. So I mean, it's all about kind of like changing culture and population.
True. But people have to understand, those who are listening, Dave's gym is not like the ordinary gym. It's a conditioning gym. And so it's not like having the 150-pound weights, doing free weights, things like that. So it's a conditioning gym that gets you in top shape for like 45 minutes, high impact, and you will get the results within a month to 3 months, but you will sustain it. Like you said, it's amazing how we, as Burmese or anyone, human beings, we want the results right away. You may get the results right away, but you put it back on because you think you're where you're supposed to be. And then when you put it back on, it's like it's just as hard to take it back off.
Well, it's a simple case of when someone is planning to get married, they want to lose X amount of weight because they want to fit in this.
Right.
Or someone has got a cruise coming up and they want to fit into a bathing suit. But when people come to you and they have those goals of short term, what advice are you giving them for that long term?
Real conversation. I'm probably one of the most honest trainers because I tell them that it's oftentimes those particular goals, although they are sometimes achievable, they also are set up for a failure. You know, so I try to have a conversation and say, you know, stay away from those things like doing Vegas and from getting married. Obviously, we have things we want to change, but like look at it for more sustainable, long results, right? It's just a recipe for disaster. So I have an honest conversation and I tell them, in my experience, I've seen those things don't necessarily end well. You know, if their focus is just that.
Right. But you have a lot of people that can only think that far down the road.
That's probably the average person. The average person. And it's funny because most people come into a gym or to an environment and they have a misconception about what it would take to achieve the results. So again, they might have 10 weeks to a particular date.
Yes.
And then I'm going to attain this body I saw on Instagram. And then you have to have an honest conversation and say, hey, listen, that's probably not likely.
Right.
What you can have is to start to a lifestyle change. Right. And if you continue on this lifestyle change, you hope to get results.
Right.
What's the difference when you're doing your personal training? What sort of training do you do as opposed to the group training classes you have 6 to 1 and 6 p.m.?
Totally opposite. So then at that point, when it's personalized, the singular focus is the individual, so their needs, what their goals are, and then you design a program or work out accordingly. So you might incorporate the same equipment or apparatus, so to speak, but it's done with the idea that you're trying to bring up the best in that person. So not everybody wants to be a sprinter, not everybody wants to be, bodybuilder, not everybody wants to get up on stage, but people have their own goals, right? So for me, that's part of the enjoyment is having diversity. So person X goes to compete at an overseas competition. Person B just wants to lose 25 pounds to go for the husband. Right. So those girls all take into consideration in the right course.
Right. What happens once someone reaches those goals? You did mention earlier that you want to keep them long term. Have you seen your clients stay long term goals? Because it obviously pays off long term.
Yeah, definitely. But even for me, I mean, I'm an client. So, from the point of view that I always say that the reason why I chose the name Fit for Life is because I looked around a name that would, sort of encompass what I believe in, my philosophy, and I really want to be fit for life. So how am I going to do that? How am I going to maintain that? I have to, I have to really manage it.
Okay. My train of thought lost it. Regarding your location, because I know you're on your own now. So where exactly are you located for our listeners who want to get in contact with you? How to get in contact with you in your location?
Yeah, sure. I don't do too much advertising. So I need to kind of do that more. I've been relying heavily on word of mouth, testimonials. But I am located on 135 Front Street, which is physical address between Arnold's and British American Building on King Street side, second floor, North Place. And that's what the website will be launching in about 10 days.
Right.
Fit for Life. You can find me on Facebook. You can find me on Instagram. Reluctant, but I'm there.
All right.
When do you find time? Last question for me. When do you find time to train for yourself?
You train this morning with us.
No. For yourself, because you would want to do specific things for yourself.
Definitely. Yeah. So, same thing, balance. I feel like what I preach is that everybody's busy. I'm sure you're busy.
Yeah.
It's busy. Mr. Bass is busy. But I always say that we have to make it a priority. Make training. So I try to make that priority. I've kind of got some things wrong in the past, but now I try to make it a priority. So I have now scheduled time in my day for training myself, for administrative work, for net, for massage, whatever the case may be. Because again, it's not just about training. Training is one aspect of living, of a healthy wellness, which is obviously all coming together, having reducing your stress, making sure that you got this outlet. So, yeah, right. Just making it a priority. Really.
Okay.
Before we wrap up, Dave, I know you've got a busy schedule, but at least got clients to see what you have on the show. For those who come on board, do they actually for nutrition plans?
That's it's all together. Right? If you're working out and not eating right, you're wasting your time.
Big time.
If you're working out, eating right, not sleeping, you're wasting your time. If you're working out, sleeping, and eating right but not reducing your stress, you're wasting your time. So it all goes together. So to answer your question, yeah, I believe what has been able to maintain me is a decent diet. I always say I like to indulge but not overindulge. There's never any more indulgent. It is usually overindulgent enough to it, right? So the occasional goodie, the occasional glass of water, it's not going to hurt you. It's usually overindulgent. You sometimes eat as the path you can't get back.
Right. And that comes with moderation once you make that change with your diet. People think that, I can just drop pizza now and eat egg whites and
good luck.
This and that. People think they can do it, right?
Egg whites are terrible.
And they are terrible. They are terrible. But mind over matter. And the fact is, people say I can do that, I can do this, and then they can do it for say maybe a week. Then like the cravings kick in, like a pizza, for example.
Just like what I was saying, it's also about information. So someone coming to me with that particular mindset, I would advise them that again, it's probably setting yourself up for failure. Because you're better off just easing into something a bit more systematically, reducing, weaning yourself off it, as opposed to doing hard. Because usually, if you go hard, you tend to fall hard.
That's true.
Yeah, that's true. Again, just be realistic about what you're trying to achieve in a decent timeline and a decent approach. There are a lot of quick quick fixes that are out there, but I don't subscribe to it.
Cool. Anything you'd like to add before we wrap up?
Thank you for the opportunity to be on the show. I just wish all of the Indian public just a healthy, prosperous, safe New Year. Just take care of ourselves.
Just let our listeners know again, Dave will be joining us again on the 22nd. He will be there every other Tuesday. I'm sorry, every other Monday. Let me say Tuesday. Every other Monday at 1:15. Of course, sometimes he may be able to call in from his gym because he's so busy, so we accept that as well. Of course, he's got valuable information. Again, he'll be back there on the 22nd of January at 1:15. Well, I wish you luck, and I'll be praying from now until Wednesday morning at 6 a.m. All right. We'll take a commercial break. But before we go to commercial break, let me congratulate Danica Gibbons, a.k.a. Wild Child. She was the winner. She won the prize on the question, the trivia question. How many years was Bermuda's Nigel Chopper Hazel a professional cricket player coached in Scotland and the UK. Thanks for not calling my phone. That answer is 25 years. So congratulations to Danica. We will give you a call after the show and we'll go from here. We'll take a commercial break and be back after that.
Talk Radio.
She got it. She called first. She got it wrong. She said 6. She called back. She does some research.
6. Yeah, she
She
Googled.
called back.
Yeah, she Googled. Yeah.
She Googled it.
She Googled it.
Okay, she got it wrong.
She got it right.
She got it.
That's a big jump.
Yeah.
That's a big jump. Thank you, brother.
Yes, man. What was it?
Yes, sir. Good. Right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Now she called back.
As long as nobody's swearing, it's all right. As long as no one's swearing,
Okay.
I thought she missed the question.
Oh.
But she totally can answer the question. Because she actually said, what is the question?
Oh.
So I said that. Question.
Right. Okay.
Colonial just a couple of minutes. There's a free $250 gift voucher for new home insurance customers too.
So this is going to be on Monday.
Yeah.
Okay.
With a claim service that's quick and friendly, we call it Cover Without Added Cost.
What's up, man? You doing?
What's good?
What's the
Yes,
all right?
yeah, man.
I forgot you had to meet me. I'm sorry. How you doing? Sorry, bro.
Boys, he ain't shaving either.
It's getting cold.
I know.
I don't know where y'all yet.
You said right now it's not happening.
Like Randy Orton.
That's the style. That's the style.
1979.
Yeah. After 20, how many years he has been on?
He's done it till they won the cup.
I remember that.
What I do, I just congratulate her again, and I let you go straight to
Don
tomorrow.
Bassett and Sarah McKittrick, diabetes educator of the Bermuda Diabetes Association on Power 95 FM radio. This new 45-minute live and in-depth analysis will provide the latest information on diabetes and health-related topics. The program will feature testimonials from those reaping the rewards of making lifestyle changes to improve their health. Lines will be open for your participation. That's Inside Health with Don Bassett and Sarah McKittrick beginning Tuesday, January 9th, 12:15 p.m. on Power 95 FM. Brought to you by Linda's People Company and the Artist Group.
Now, back to Inside Sports Talk Radio. Inside Sports Talk Radio on Power 95 FM. Ian Rollins and co-host Earl Mason.
And welcome back to Inside Sports Talk Radio. Again, congratulations to Danica Gibbons, aka Wild Child. She was the first winner of our sports trivia question. The question was, how many years was Bermuda's Nigel Chopper Hazel a professional cricket player, coach in Scotland and the UK? And she was correct with 25 years. We'll get back to the show. Joining us now in the studio is the president of the Blue Football Association, Mr. Mark Way. Good afternoon to you, sir.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon to all of your readers
and listeners.
Sorry, listeners.
It's been reading.
Right, he's reading himself, right? Probably trying to Google that answer.
You missed the trivia question, brother. You missed the trivia question.
Tune in next week, right? Go ahead.
Well, Mark, obviously you're midway through your domestic season. Pretty much PhD has run away with everything so far. But internationally, what is on the horizon for Bermuda at all levels? Because we have under 15s, under 17s, and the senior team due to be playing at some point this year.
Well, we have our under 17 girls going off to Nicaragua. They're just working through their preparation program. They just came off of a mini camp in Bermuda. So we took advantage of the girls being back for Christmas.
Right.
And we have hopefully a couple training tours organized for them, and then they'll be off to Nicaragua to the first time ever.
Right.
For the girls team to come to Camp One in Bermuda. So definitely looking forward to that. That's going to be fantastic. We have our men who are still on their preparation plan for the League of Nations, which is commence later this year, September, October, November. So we have potentially some matches for them. We do have to play the return match against Barbados. Just waiting for a signature on the dotted line, and we'll be able to announce when that is. And we actually also have a couple of invitations for our senior men that we're working through. quite a bit has to go into fall into place. Certainly, player availability is one of them. How much do you interrupt players' business end of the season is another. But we're battling our way, putting that together. I know the players are jumping at the bit together, do this, Barbados again.
Right.
So that we can right what was wrong.
In the last 3 minutes.
Yeah. So, definitely, we do have that to look forward to. And this year is boys World Cup qualifying year, so our under 17, under 20 boys will be involved later this year, July and August, normally months for that. We took advantage of them being here. They went through all of their testing. So every imaginable test they could.
Yeah, I saw some of it.
The beep test, everybody knows what the beep test, but there's a whole bunch of other ones as well that they went through. Kind of surprising to see. And I had a little dig at a couple of them, and some of them, can only do 2 or 3 push-ups and all this kind of thing. So we have a baseline,
right?
That we know we want to improve them physically. So we have a good group at under 20. Certainly, we have about 40 young men that we're looking at between 100 and 1, and they all done their physical testing. Girls and everybody in the national program in the USA. And then we have our under 15 girls who will go to the public half under 15 championships.
Yeah.
Which has been brought forward to June. Still at IMG, but it's going to be in June this year.
Now that kind of puts us in a tough position, doesn't it?
Well,
and the school exams.
Those emails will be sent to just talk about how difficult it's going to be for those countries. It's not just Canada.
Right.
Who will be in the middle of testing. So watch this space. Maybe that date will change because it will be difficult.
Right.
And I haven't been able to have a chat with anyone to find out what was the reason for shifting it. It may be rather behind we did have when we were there. We did have a lightning delay. We had so that's the other piece. So quite a busy year. As you can see, it's actually also spread throughout the year. We used to say summertime was international.
the window for us.
International window, but it's now spreading around.
Well, when you get success, obviously you go that extra step.
Yep.
So it's not just the normal ones we're in now. We're into actually moving into different groups. Then comes a bigger headache, but it only takes us a few years, I guess, to adjust to it.
Yeah.
Because everybody's gonna have to change a little bit here and there. And the volume in which we can possibly get can increase.
Sure, and it's it's exciting on several fronts. Exciting for us to get to these levels in tournaments and getting deeper into tournaments. But it's also exciting to figure these things out.
Right.
It's good. It keeps us all busy, keeps us all on our toes, keeps the brains working. We're hard to meet these challenges.
I know what a lot of people will be looking at and how interesting it will be the League of Champions. Initial talks, obviously, we got to wait for a draw and all that. But how is that shaping up?
It's shaping up very well. This whole process has been over a year. Talking about the League of Nations, how to structure it, and also meeting the goals of all the different countries. So how do you meet the goals of the U.S. or Mexico at the top of that,
right?
And meet the goals of, say, Montserrat at the bottom. And so far, the way that it's going to be structured is there will be a CONCACAF Shield, where you will play for your position in the CONCACAF League of Nations for 2019. So 2018, you're actually going to play for your position. the original idea was that you take the FIFA ranking and just slot everybody in different leagues.
Right.
But fast forward about 8 months, and that changed to let's play for your position.
Well, it helps out because now you're playing.
Of course.
Yeah.
So the idea is let's have these decisions made on the field of play and not attacking threats inside a room.
Right.
These decisions on
Right.
who plays and what.
Yeah.
So, that's a good thing as well. So that will take off. That'll be the once the draw is made, which will be what will be announcement should be this year. Not this year, sorry. In the first quarter of this year, there will be an announcement of the League of Nations sponsorship package. So,
Right.
There'll be a big launch of that, which we're waiting for that to happen. And that will solidify all of the things that we discussed early last year.
Now, do we run the risk of not being able to afford this financially?
No, because there are some financial assistance available to countries.
Okay. All right.
Spoken very carefully because I do not want to steal anyone's thunder of the announcement from countries.
Okay, fine, fair enough. Because for us, it's always a challenge, and probably we're not the only one, but cost always comes down to us, and it's one of those things.
Yeah, I mean, on the economies of scale, it hits us a lot harder than a lot of our neighbors. But the good thing is that the League of Nations, the way it's financially structured, should not have any barriers for any country.
Speaking still on football international, we say 6 months from now will be the World Cup. Representatives, you being the president of the World Football Association, will this be your first time going to the World Cup? Yeah. Interesting for you. It's an experience.
So the answer was yes, it's good.
Yeah, I said that.
No, he didn't. No, he didn't say he was good.
He went yes.
So no, you asked, will this be the first time he'd be going as
right?
And he said,
yes. Yeah, I got that.
I know there's a lot of people turning their backs on going to Russia. Okay,
that's where
not just locally.
That's where I was going to go. Are you prepared to?
First of all, the way that the Congresses are structured,
yeah, you got to.
They're always structured around.
I know. I'm kidding.
World Cup.
I know.
You know, he laughed. Stay here, right?
Well, that was an experience in itself.
Yes.
But there are some concerns going to Russia. Absolutely. That's no secret. And people have to put the right things in place to make everyone who is attending the World Cup home. So I'm sure they're working diligently along with the Russian authorities to make sure that that's the case. Right. The level of trust that we have to have in order to get on the plane and get off.
And get back.
To Russia and get back.
Yeah.
I've been to some hairy places, so it's not
too bad.
Not completely foreign to me. But,
right. What are you looking for in particular at this year's Congress?
This year's Congress, we're certainly looking to see how the League of Nations ties into other League of Nations. So we know that UAW the same thing. So we're certainly looking to see other confederations are also putting together a League of Nations. As part of the idea of the League of Nations is that there is also a window you can play, friendly matches outside your confederation. It would be really something if we could start to do that. The sort of bigger countries that have the better merchandise and appeal, but more appeal.
Right.
Jamaica has an appeal.
Right.
Jamaica can probably go to any country in the world and build a stadium. The U.S. same thing. But how can we, Bermuda, benefit from playing some teams on our level outside of our region? So that's going to be interesting to hear when we get to the Congress. Certainly, we want to have some idea of how the World Cup is doing financially. That's going to have an impact for 2019 for the next 4 years.
Right.
2019 to the next
Right.
World Cup. Because that's going to impact our funding. What it is that we can do. Ideally, we look for an increase, but the World Cup isn't financially successful. or as successful as it has been the previous years. The funding decreases or increases. So,
Well, it's got to be doing well because there was an announcement, I think, 2 weeks ago that clubs that have players playing in the World Cup that have been with that club for more than 2 years will receive, I think it was £8,000 a day for that player being with their national program. So I guess the anticipation is it's going to be a financial
well, that
surplus.
that remains to be seen. Doing business in Russia is not like doing business everywhere else. There has to be that's going to be interesting. Certainly to see how the World Cup doors and what's the financial success of it. Because then that's the trickle down effect is okay. Well, how does that impact the DFA strategic? How does that impact the DFA's next 4 years? Because the bulk of our funding comes from people. It's about 80%. So we'll see. That's going to be very interesting to hear. To be honest, you're sitting in Congress and a lot of the other stuff you're not really interested in.
Right.
Okay, listen. How well is the World Cup to?
Yeah.
It's true. How can I marry this to the strategic plan? How can I marry this to the next 4 years? So that's going to be one of the key things.
From the outside looking in, are you yourself comfortable with where CONCACAF is and where FIFA is right now as it stands?
I'm a coach. Coaches are never satisfied. So no.
Okay. All right.
Not satisfied because we're always trying to look for the next thing. How can we improve? Always. And as a coach, that's what I did. I'm a coach at heart, so I'm still the same way. How can we improve? How can CONCACAF improve? CONCACAF is in a position now where we're trying to recover, we're trying to rebrand, we're trying to build the confidence of the stakeholders, footballers, coaches, clubs, the corporate community. CONCACAF's come out of a really dark pit. And sometimes at the forefront, even ahead of FIFA's dark pit.
Just renewed last week,
and FIFA's and FIFA's doing the same thing.
Right.
So what can we do that? What is so that's where I am.
Right. Do you find that the current CONCACAF president is more open and more into dialogue with the region as opposed to previous leaders?
Absolutely. I think he's the first thing he says when we get to meetings, okay, you can all take your ties off.
Right.
Because we'll come to work. We're not here to sit around and look pretty. We'll come to work and we take the tie off. And he's different animal. So we get WhatsApps from CONCACAF president.
Right.
Voice notes.
Right.
Hi Mark, how you doing? So even that's kind of putting a different touch on being the CONCACAF president. Just when you think about it, the president of CONCACAF, multi-million-dollar business, and the leader says, "Can you come to our express?"
Yes.
Sure, pop down, no problem. Those sort of things is an indication of how CONCACAF has evolved, where the communication is a lot less formal, and it's a lot more communication now. We get together more, so we're not just waiting for our Congress every year. Now there are different opportunities to discuss what's going on. Still plenty of politics.
Right.
Let's be frank and honest.
Yeah.
Right? There's still plenty of politics, but the CONCACAF has a different view.
You feel like you have a say in the room now, and and what you're saying is being listened to.
Yeah, sure.
Because for years we've always felt.
The League of Nations is a prime example where there's been a lot of input from a lot of countries, and we've come to what we believe works for everyone. The proof is going to be in the pudding, obviously. So we'll see how the between 18 and 19 and what it looks like. But for now, it looks good, and there's been a lot of input from a lot of smaller countries.
Let's take a commercial break and be back after this.
It's being presented to you by Windows Group of Companies, Colonial Group International, Global Atlantic Financial Group, Game Time, and Fit for Life.
So,
We'll return after the break.
when you look at for this year's World Cup, obviously 2022 is already we call for that's like Dubai, right? Qatar. Will you guys be discussing those matters? Because that's what
I can't remember of any. There'll be a little bit of discussion on Qatar, and then we'll decide on the next one.
So 2020 is going to be and the other one is that the one for 2022 it should be made because they want to put that one during the fall season, November, December, something like that, right?
Yeah.
That's interesting. That would affect Bermuda's football as well, not just England.
Yep.
So I'm going to bring that up to you when we come back.
Well, I mean, the finals doesn't have that much of an impact. That's where it is.
Ever since the famous TV dinner was introduced in
Finals will
1962,
be
once an exclusive brand name the world over. We're featuring one of their relatively new products, Swanson's Broth. Swanson's Broth hits the perfect balance between the vegetable and meat ingredients, bringing a real flavor boost to your cooking. Naturally adding extra richness and nutritional value to beauty,
What is this?
Oh,
right.
Yeah, they changed it back. Okay. That was I failed. Sorry that somebody like that terribly injured by
Bermuda
it.
Broadcasting Company is pleased
But
to present Inside Help,
it's more
featuring
than
Don
this.
Bassett and
For
Sarah
those people who
McKittrick,
can't see
diabetes
this.
educator
Right.
of the
And this way,
Bermuda
you play
Diabetes
us in that
Association,
way.
Power 95
You will
FM Radio.
understand
This
that
new
his hat
45-minute
isn't going
live
to hit the
and
player, or
in-depth
it's more dangerous
analysis
than
will provide the latest information on
more dangerous
diabetes
than
and
cancer.
health-related
Yeah.
topics. The program will feature
So that was
testimonials from
the
those recently to improve their health.
I just saw it and I'm like,
That's Inside Help with Don Bassett and Sarah McKittrick beginning Tuesday, January 9th, 12 to 3 p.m. on Power 95 FM. Brought to you by Windows Group of Companies and the Argus Group.
Now, back to Inside Sports Talk Radio. Inside Sports Talk Radio on Power 95 FM with host Ian Rose and co-host Earl Kingston.
And welcome back to Inside Sports Talk Radio. As we said earlier, just for the break, we have the president of the Football Association, Mr. Mark Reid, in the studio. Of course, he will be participating in the CONCACAF regional World Cup in Russia. When did you hail Putin? You hail Putin?
I don't know. That might be the safest place to be. Right next to Putin.
I know Trump may show up if he's still president. Number 45. Number 45. He shows up. He may show up. I don't know.
He just might.
the boy just got a meeting canceled.
I don't know if he did anything.
Yeah, you're probably right. No, he don't. No.
He got a meeting canceled. North Korea and South Korea are supposed to meet tomorrow.
That's right.
And he took credit for it. You know what the North said?
Cancel.
So he later.
For no game.
Nah. We'll talk to the IOC. We ain't talking to them.
That's why he's losing upstairs, right? Anyway, in 2022, the World Cup is in Qatar, and the big talk is moving the event to November, which the event is the World Cup in its 22-year history has always been in the summer. Putting it in the fall or late winter, kind of new for everyone in the world.
Very new. Very new for everyone.
That's because of the weather.
Yeah. So I mean, there's quite a few adjustments to make. Obviously, all the teams that actually make the finals, they will have to adjust. It may or may not. Big adjustment for the EPL, obviously. Everyone else, maybe not, because you know that there's a winter break in Europe. Lots of countries play their leagues during the summer anyway. So MLS is during the summer. To other countries as well. So it's interesting in one way. And we'll see what the adjustment is and what it looks like.
It actually makes the World Cup qualifiers window shorter. Because if you're looking at a full 4-year cycle, if you're having it in, say, November, December, you're coming short of, or you're bringing it forward by 8 months.
Sure.
Right. So that window now becomes, that 3-year window now becomes 2.5.
Yeah. And I think there's enough leeway in there to do that. Probably take away quite a few of the friendly dates that were already in place. But the big adjustment is for the two leagues or in operation at that point.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Wow. So going back and switching to 2018 World Cup in Russia, what are your expectations for yourself participating, representing Bermuda as the president for the first time in this event?
Well, I mean, it's gathering information for us. The Congress isn't a lot of the decisions that are taken are made against the Congress.
Correct.
So you're participating. A lot of what happens at the Congress, a lot of the things that benefits Bermuda that happens at the Congress are at the socials afterwards. That's where the conversation is. Right, who's the team that's coming to we're still trying to convince Trinidad that it's time for them to get the mix again.
Right.
But we'll see.
Just talk to my colleague Gary Marino. He'll make it happen.
But
they don't want to come
there's a Congress itself, and then there's a lot of the side conversations that happen.
They visualize on a golf course. They say a lot of decisions are made on a golf course, but
there'll be no golf course for me. I can still run. In Russia. I said a long time ago, I'm not playing golf until I can't run anymore. So I can still run. So there's no golf for me. But there's quite a few social activities where the networking starts, and you try and solidify some relationships and get matches. There will be a CONCACAF Congress there as well. So the day before normally is when there's a CONCACAF Congress. CFU will have a meeting at the same time as well. So we'll get some updates on some of the things that the CFU are working on. The CFU are working on just trying to finish off the strategic plan. Because as you know, the CFU has to read to.
Yeah.
So there's a strategic plan that has to be done. There's been quite a few discussions about the CFU airline or some way of reducing cost of paying matches throughout the CFU region. So certainly looking forward to an update on that. We may even get an update before that. The CFU is also discussing professional league. How can you make that work? Can it work without an airline, or are they part and parcel of the same package? So quite a few things that we'll get some updates on. It's the Congress is part of the commitment, right?
Right.
Quite a bit that happens in and around the FIFA Congress. So there's CFU, there's CONCACAF, then there's all the networking,
right?
That has to happen. Sometimes you have a quick meeting with another country just to iron out maybe with a match. And what we're all going to be trying to figure out really is how can we play matches, friendly international matches, right through all our age groups. Right now, a lot of the focus is on seniors.
Yeah.
First and foremost, a lot is because there's a financial windfall in some countries. Certainly not Bermuda, but some countries there's financial windfall. There's women, senior women, and all of our youth teams. How can we play international friendly matches? Right. That's a big if we can make that happen. The costs are the same,
right?
But the revenues are nowhere near. In terms of covering the cost, but hopefully there's some ideas on how we can play international friendly matches, for male and female, and possible.
Well, thank you, Mr. President, for joining us today. We have to wrap up our time with Inside Sports. Is any other thing to add before we wrap up with you, sir?
Only to say to the public, keep supporting our players. Keep supporting our players. Our players are the stars of the show. They are why we do what we do. And we had some fantastic support over Christmas. The numbers for Boxing Day were very good. Numbers for New Year's Day, very good. So really, Bermuda, keep coming out, keep supporting our local players. We'll see you on the pitch.
Thank you very much, sir. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you.
Well, that's all our time we have today for Inside Sports Talk Radio. Again, our new time is from 12:15 to 2 p.m. We take a 1 minute, a 1 o'clock break as the news comes on at 1 p.m. Well, that's about a good 10-minute break, but we're on here from 12:15 to 2 p.m. Again, congratulations to Tamika Gibbons, the first winner of our trivia question. And that question again, I'll repeat it, is how many years was Bermuda's Nigel Chapman-Hayes was a professional cricket player, coach in Scotland and UK, and the answer is 25 years. So congratulations to Tamika.
Congrats.
A wild child. Okay. Give her a call after. We will have another trivia question next week, so join us then, and we'll have prize for you all to win. Thank you to Ambassador for Controls.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
Right.
Anytime.
And we'll be listening to you tomorrow inside Help.
Tomorrow, 12:15.
12:15.
Ready.
Good. Mr. Basin, it's a
Have a good
pleasure
one.
always.
Yes, sir.
Talk to you like you.
Yes, sir.
All right. Take
Mhm.
care.
Yeah.
Take care now.